Every club. Every day. The Global Sports Podcast Network.
Hello, and
Double
today. What is going on? It's not stopping.
They don't want to let you talk, Katerina. That's the truth. That is
It's a technical glitch. My first technical glitch. Anyway, hello and welcome back to Beyond the Pitch, a daily women's football podcast brought to you by the Global Sport Podcast Network. And today you have the Italian duo again. So it's me, Kate,
and Natasha.
and Natasha. Nat. As usual, 3 topics for today, all linked into each other this time, actually. And we're going to have an overview, obviously, of the WSL fantastic weekend, some incredible results, some new players that they were just signed, started to play straight away, very exciting. And then we're going to touch on something that's a little bit less exciting, but it actually is a reality, unfortunately, in football, which is a post that Millie Bright has uploaded this morning on her Instagram. And then we'll talk a little bit more about that. And then we are going to end up we couldn't not chat what happened to Barcelona. And yeah, a very interesting fact, let's put it this way, at the weekend. But let's start with our homegrown WSL. I'm just going to go through the result if whoever is listening hasn't had the opportunity to. So Arsenal beats Manchester City at their home ground, so up in Manchester, 4-3, with an incredible game, like a ping pong, like a bang, 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 bang. Goal. So really exciting. Everton wins very comfortably at Leicester 4-1. Liverpool just get a victory against West Ham, just 1-0. I am very excited that Palace got a point, and I got a point with Brighton. I don't know if if you're listening and you don't know, there is a bit of rivalry, a bit of a derby in a sort of way between Brighton and Crystal Palace. So that's quite nice to see as a result. Chelsea continues with their unbeaten record, and they win at Villa. Probably not their best game yet and their best victory, but as we say, a win is a win. And sadly, my team loses at home against United. I think is a little bit of an unfair score, and not because they're my team, but because of the game itself. But again, a loss is a loss, or for their case, a win is a win. And yeah, pretty much that's what it is. A very exciting weekend for me because one of my favorite players is back into the WSL. I was not expecting her to start playing straight away, not going to lie. That's my favorite number 4, Kiera Walsh, back in the game.
Yeah, interesting to see her because of all the players that Chelsea has bought during this window, and there are a lot. It's interesting to see actually Kiera Walsh, the Lioness, go back and roar, as we can say. What performance of Chelsea? We can talk about a little bit the performance of Chelsea, which has not, on my opinion, been at their best. But as you highlighted before, okay, a win is a win, and is not always the team that plays the nice football or the clean football to get the 3 points, and that's what happened to Chelsea. But that is why I think they have some magic in that team, because no matter what, they bring home the result every time. Every time you think it was like, oh my gosh, look at this team today. They are not great. They are not performing. Something's happening, blah, blah, blah. But at the very end, they get the 3 points home. So for me, it's Bon Pastor is proving herself right somehow. But yeah, what I can see from them has been missing. I don't know, is because they need to reset after the movement of the transfer market, but I think they are not as fight, like they are not as aggressive as they were in the first part of the season. They sound like the first part of the season, I found that Chelsea that was much more aggressive in the last third, whereas now it seems more settled, it seems more conscious, and sometimes the defense had some gasp that you are like makes the game exciting, but not in a good way for them. So yeah, that's my taking on Chelsea. But they got it home, so well done on them.
I always think hard or a win is a win. It's a bit like a loss is a loss. Sometimes you're the best team on the field. You try and try and try, and then they just score one goal, and you go home with a loss. And you can stay there and you can argue. Look at the stats. We were the best. Yeah, but I know, but a loss is a loss. And the
But
same, you
you
know.
use that expression especially for sports, and I was at the game, as you probably know, because I posted everywhere. And I have to say, I it was an even game. I wouldn't say like the win of United convinced me. It's like it was almost an even game. What I think was missing there again, and I might repeat myself, is being really hungry for a goal, being really hungry for a victory. Spurs didn't give me that impression like by watching them. They were conscious, they went back in defense, but all the game, most of the game has been played in their own half. And like the attack, like in an attacking way. So they like the your goalkeeper did really well, but and a little bit defense was did a little did well, but I have to say I would like to see more push forward more, because you had that two glimpse, but not more like we were like, I was waiting, it's like, okay, he's gonna change something, he's gonna make it more action, but it didn't seem that there was this hunger to win. But again, that is my view of the game, but it was a very pleasant day.
Yeah, did you enjoy?
Yeah, yeah, how do you know? So thanks to a friend who is actually having the podcast with me at this moment. I was able to feel the premium treatment of, so I felt a little bit like a very important person, and I was able, and it was a great experience because you're so close to the people that are making the football great, and that's it's you really breathe football in a different way. It's not just about, of course it's about the way you have been treated and all the perks, but I think it's just like emotional to be around people that have been in the game for a long time or are at a certain level of the game that you might aspire to, or you might be inspired of. So yeah, and no, I really recommend, if you have the opportunity to see the game, or be after the game or before the game in this environment, because it makes you really feel part of something bigger than yourself, something bigger
Yeah, I
than
think it.
fandom.
So what you say is very important, especially I think especially I see this more often in the women's game than in the men's game. So as a disclaimer for everyone listening, we are talking about certain area of premium hospitalities in different stadiums. It's not just Spurs in particular, but in every stadium. So with the women game, it tends to be full of very important guests, but very important guests more than from a famous point of view. Really, exactly as you said, guests that are really making the difference in the women game. And because you and I are not just interested to watch games from a fan point of view, because we like football, but we like everything that is behind the scene. So being in those room with those people is very important. I remember the first time I got invited by the FA, actually by Nike, but at the FA lounge in Wembley, for when we played Netherlands. So was that December 2023, and it was it just, I love the premium experience. Of course, it's nice. You go in, you have food, and you've got hot drinks, whatever. That's nice. But exactly as you said, just the conversations that you have at that table, that you can hear at the table, that you can just live is not just that. Whilst I think that often in the men's game, and I can see when I attend, it's often just fans. So obviously people that like to go and experience the football in a bit more of a upmarket, let's say, way, but they don't work in football. They just people that want to go there and watch football. So it's very different. I'm just saying, in case you go to a men's game and you think like, oh, right, so it's not the same. It's like, no. So yeah, that's what it is. But I think everybody should experience at least, a few times in their lifetime going to a sports event. Doesn't necessarily need to be football, but being, pampered and treated in that way is just really nice. But anyway, we got off topic as usual. Yeah, I mean, just to wrap up before we move to the next topic is, I just want to say again, I'm a Spurs supporter, but very, very soft spot for Chelsea. Being having this kind of like non-monogamous relationship with my football team for a long time. I think Chelsea is incredible what they're doing. Always been a very underrated team and very exciting. This is 21 games unbeaten. Funny how the only team in the WSL that was able to not let them have 3 points was Leicester. So a little bit of like woohoo at Leicester in there. So sometimes they are the underdog that really made the difference. Yeah, and very exciting. So I know they celebrated. They were very happy because it's a big record, but there was a little bit of a shadow, and we're going to talk about it in the next sector. Yeah, go on.
I have a question. Do you think that we will see Chelsea being unbeaten until the end of this season?
So I had the same chat with Alka yesterday when we were talking about transfer and
Yeah, I know.
like, oh my god, Chelsea is buying everybody, etc. I 100% they're going after Arsenal record, so they probably want to be the super very best women team ever in England. They have the opportunity to. They have the team. They have the facilities. They have the coach, the staff. They have everything to do it. Obviously, Sonia also is experienced a bit more than what I think Emma was in the Champions League competition. So it makes a difference because it's also mentality. Can they do it? Yeah, absolutely. I think they bought enough players in the winter window to be able to have a fresh team. Let's not forget we've got a couple of other of their players that should be coming back from injury, and they are players that do make a difference when they play. So I see no reason for them not to. I'm not sure if they will win all the games, but I think they can be unbeaten. So
yeah,
they
that's
might,
what I meant.
yeah,
I meant unbeaten because they already didn't win all the games. But
yeah.
I
So
wonder
I
if
mean,
you feel that.
no, but I mean, maybe from here till the end, they won't win all the game, but I think they have a great opportunity to finish the season unbeaten and to smash that record as well. So yeah.
So we are aligned on that.
The Global Sports Podcast Network is changing the face of football podcast with dedicated daily content for every Premier League game, women's football, fantasy football, and a daily Premier League wrap-up broadcasted in 5 different languages. This is your one-stop shop for your daily football fix. Find GSPN wherever you find your usual podcast.
So yeah, I woke up this morning and a friend of mine sent me this Millie Bright post, and I was like, oh, what's going on? And then I started to read it and I got very upset. So I'm going to read it out if anyone has not seen it yet. A little bit of a contest. What happened is that at the game yesterday, someone first approached Millie for, signing, talking, the t-shirt, photo, and all of that kind of like really nice stuff. So we're talking about apparently a Chelsea football fan. So I'm not talking the opposition. And then instead, they kind of like turned around and just, shouting in a not particularly way, in a nice way about their poor performance. And so Millie came out and said in her Instagram, please may I remind you that as players, we are not collectibles. We are not robots. We are humans, the same as you. After every game, we as players make a choice to give you our time, support, and generosity to do photos, signature, have conversation, because we care and respect you traveling to support us. We do this regardless of the result of the performance. So please be more mindful of your comments. I'm glad it was me you made this comment about and not my teammates. Every game, we give our absolute all, and it won't always be pretty or perfect. But just remember, we give everything to be the best for you. So this experience was hugely disappointing, especially from a fan sat in the Chelsea section. And I understand it. I understand, you can be a little bit frustrated. You can be, you've traveled up to Birmingham to watch the game, hasn't been the best game of your life. Okay, fine. But so what? What makes you feel that you can do something like that? And also, I have a soft spot for Millie Bright. I think she's an incredible captain material. I was very excited when she took over the job for the Lionesses as well. Yeah, and I think this statement speaks very highly of her.
I think what comes out again is people wants the bite of you, but then they are also overcritical. And I think if you are a fan and you really like a player, you need to put into frame the fact that players might have good day and bad days, and even if you like they don't play the way you thought they were playing, let's put in that frame. But if you dare to ask them for photos or a signature, then you shouldn't be so rude, in my opinion, to talk in the back of them, because then why would you ask for a photo in the first place if you didn't like? Let's put in the frame that you didn't like how they play, you're very disappointed, you thought you wasted your time in traveling all the way to Aston Villa, then pack up and go home. You don't have to ask for a player to sign. You don't have to ask for a player a picture. They do it, even though, and they might reflect on the performer. I'm sure they do. They have a review of the game. 100%. It's professional people, but nevertheless, I wouldn't if I was thinking that way, I wouldn't dare to ask them for a photos or anything after the game. I would just pack up and leave if I was disappointed with my team as a pure fan. If I'm asking for a picture and I'm still thinking about that, I would probably have the good behavior not to shout it in the face after I got what I needed. That is my point.
Yeah, but I think that's precisely her point, as in like, May, again, I think what really upset her is the fact that this person, who by the way hasn't been identified yet, so I don't know, but that this person has first felt so entitled, to have photos and a chart and, all of that type of thing. And then maybe, I don't know, maybe they didn't get enough attention. I don't know. I have no idea. Also felt entitled to just express an opinion that was very disturbing and quite, abusive, for absolutely no other reason than just feeling entitled to do so. And I
And I
think
think this.
it
Oh, sorry.
speaks
Go on.
it speaks very highly about how much there is still to do. And you say, and I appreciate you said, like, oh, if you do that, at least don't do this and don't do that. But it's because you and I are like that. So I wouldn't even think about it. If I am upset and it happens sometimes, I just go like, I'm gonna leave. And sometimes my friends are like, oh, don't you want to stay? The girls are coming, we take photos. And I'm like, nah, mate, I'm just gonna go. Like, you can stay, I'll just wait for you, like, at the pub or somewhere else. I just need to go because I'm upset. And you're entitled to be upset as a fan. You take things at heart, it's fine. What you're not entitled is to, abuse the players in any way, in any
I
way.
think there is a little bit, and I think that is the B side that I want to talk about of the women's football as it has been growing. Also, that people feel entitled of getting a shirt after the game, getting the players, getting everything, and I think and that was a debate also when Chelsea stopped in their ground to have players available at the end of the game. So, I think it's just like the feeling entitled that they owe you something because you travel so far. To be honest with you, if you look at, and I know I don't like to compare, but in this case I do want to compare
Mhm.
because with the men's game, men don't necessarily stay after the game to sign stuff for the fans. Not always, not is not a given. Whereas the women is expected, and that is going to all towards all the tiers, and it also is expected to give you gloves or part of their kit, and I think this should stop by now, on my opinion, because that is what then you have these people, right, that they want that because that's what they signed for, that's why they travel so far to get a picture with you, and then they're entitled to say things at the back. So that's why I'm like, you know what, probably we shouldn't ask the players to stretch so much, and we shouldn't we shouldn't expect the player to give us their time, things, whatever, at the end of a game, independently how it went. But that's me.
I mean, two things there. First of all, a disclaimer, because I want everybody to know that I work for Kick It Out, so of course I love what they do, and they have an amazing, incredible fan education program, which I think is in fact so important. It's so important, and I'm going to be a bit controversial in here because I'm going to quote an example. I'm going to quote you the NBA. The NBA is like that, and it's not changing. You have people sitting at courtside. You have people, as soon as the game finished, they go there, they speak to like the players. And we are talking about, okay, he's not with us anymore, but we're talking about the likes of Kobe Bryant, Lucas, James, all of the big, big, big people, Caitlin Clark now. And it's fine. That's fine. They go there, they most of the time they expect them to give them, I don't know, sometimes the shoes as well. How many times you see the basketball player giving shoes, t-shirt, vest, the little thing that they have in their head, whatever. It doesn't really matter. Sometimes they get the ball. It doesn't really matter. I think that's the difference, is the fun education. It's like football fun in some way. They think like they own the players. The male players stopped doing that because people go crazy. I mean, you see sometimes video of like big players like, Messi, Ronaldo, etc., with a lot of bodyguards around, and still people trying to go there just to get just to touch them, just to get a little selfie, just to get, that sort of thing. It's like, I don't know why it's like that, but it's like football fan. I think we still need more education in that. So I'm not quite sure stopping it would solve the problem. Yes, of course, it will protect the players, and I agree with that, but it's not going to stop the problem. The problem is, and I highlighted again, fun education. I mean, one of the reasons why also I was so adamant, and I feel very privileged to actually work at Kiki Out, is because fun education for me is key in every single topic. It could be discrimination, it could be behavior, it could, that's it. Fun education.
And I think that is where I think that you like I didn't think about that, to be honest with you, and I believe what you just said, actually it's 100% correct. But then the challenge is how you can educate all the fans, that is another level of the challenge. uh but I think players need to be recognized as they are not just players. They are not there because you pay a ticket and then so they owe you something. They owe you the way you think football should be. They owe you the availability that should be. I honestly, I think that you need a bit of both. So I think probably the first thing that's why the first thing I thought is like they need to stop that, because that is the immediate, it's a little bit the patch, you put the patch
For sure. For sure.
But then I agree with you. It's like that shouldn't be the last solution, because there is a miss out by both of them, by both from the players and by both from the fandom. But I think we are going into, as you said, the fact that people go crazy, that they need to have six or more bodyguards just to breathe. That is absolutely, I don't know. I don't know. I shouldn't say anything, because I met one of the lionesses by chance on a tube with her boyfriend, and she was literally almost 1 inch out of my nose. And the first thing I thought is like, I just fake up, don't recognize her, because it's a tube, is a very compact place. There are so many people, and I'm not gonna say anything that could like people get into some state of mind that they want to just have a picture because you have a picture, so you recognize someone and blah blah blah, so, and I saw her being very nervous, so I just left it. And I thought, whoa, if she jumps on the tube, from out of the tube where I jump, I'm gonna talk to her. But it was a very compact place, and I was conscious of her. But that is me. But I know that probably somebody else would have probably like, oh my God, you are blah, 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 And yeah, but that is me with every celebrity, unfortunately. That's why I don't have a picture with almost anyone. But that's another topic for another day, maybe. Here at Global Sports Podcast Network, we spent a lot of time selecting our delivery platform. Zencastr came out the clear winner. With 4K video recording from your phone and AI editing that automatically removes all those ums and ahs, it's super easy to start a podcast that sounds great and is delivered efficiently. If you are ready to tell your story, check out the link in the show description to learn more about Zencastr.
Okay, and welcome back. We are here. We're having a bit of a technical issue tonight, so I'm not sure if Natasha, sorry, why am I saying Natalie? Sorry, Natasha will come back or not. But anyway, we only have a couple of minutes, so I'm going to wrap it up. What we wanted to chat about was what happened at Barcelona this weekend. So for context, Barcelona actually lost their first game after, believe it or not. I mean, we were talking about Chelsea before with like a certain amount of 21 unbeaten. Barcelona was a 46 match unbeaten. That's 46. That is incredible. But I think the most incredible thing, from my point of view at least, is the fact that they were beaten by a team that is second from the bottom, fighting relegation, and is 15th in their league, and is Levante. And it's just one of those things that you tell someone and they go like, what do you mean? And it's like, yeah, that is exactly what happened. So yeah, a very, very, very incredible result. I think everybody was shocked. They lost 2-1. Yeah, first time in 46 game in La Liga. And I don't know, Nat, are you back? She's not. Okay. And then Nat and I were saying that,
and I can just
we
say,
think most likely that's to do with the fact that Kiera's left. And you can laugh about it, but this is exactly how I feel. Actually, this goes out to my friend Ro. Ro, if you are listening, hear me out. You said to me that you think Kiera is actually a player that a lot of people rate, but you really don't get how, why is she rated like that and why is she so important. I think the fact that Barcelona lost to Kiera, and that's the first time they're losing in 46 games, proves exactly my point and not as much your point. But anyway, I think that's all we have time for today. I'm so sorry, guys, that I've lost Nat halfway through, and we look forward to welcoming you back to the next episode of Beyond the Pitch. And ciao, ciao.
Every club,
ciao.
the Global Sports Podcast Network. Every club, every day. The Global Sports Podcast Network.